Marcel Horn, HPA. I'm standing with what is one of the ultimate sleeper cars, the HPA VR550T Alltrack. This 2.5 VR6 turbocharged all-wheel drive wagon is by far one of my favorite builds to date. You're gonna jump in, we're gonna go for a ride, we're gonna test out what this ultimate parking lot sleeper can do out on the tarmac. Yeah, you know, the beauty about any of these VR550T packages is that there's a lot of headroom on the table. They're calibrated in such a fashion that you can enjoy all that power on a hot day, on a cold day, at altitude or at sea level, which we are enjoying sea level, and we're enjoying a cold day actually, just on normal pump gas. There's no methanol injection, there's no hybrid additives. You can literally come here, fill it up. You're running a premium, but you can fill it up and gas and go. And that's how these cars should be. This project was put on hold for the last year and a half while we ironed out the small little nuances, and the car made the power. It had violent acceleration when we launched it, but where there was a gremlin was in that early morning commuting in traffic, stop and go. There was a little bit of hysteria, as if the turbo was wound up and you were holding it back. It took us an amazing amount of effort to iron out that small little idiosyncrasy. Now, that doesn't speak to the Alltrack. The Alltrack was its own project unto itself. But honestly now, this VR550T in a stock trim in D mode before the oil temperature's up, after a freezing overnight outside parking fire up, it behaves better than my brand new Atlas I bought off the showroom floor. And that's saying something. This is, without compromise, one of the best calibrated packages we've done in 35 years. And it deploys and employs every factory engineered system that Volkswagen put into these cars to ensure efficiency, economy, and performance. All right, so it is March, and March for HPA is pretty special. It's March 2026, and this is our 35th anniversary as a company. It means I'm getting old, but not too old to enjoy a VR6. And we are in the world's first and the world's only 2.5 DDKA swapped VR550T Alltrack. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this was a tough project to pull over the finish line. On the surface, you know, you've been swapping a long time, electric harnesses, motors, mechanics, hardware, CNC work, that's all easy. We've learned how to perfect that. What's challenging is, let's say the Alltrack. It straddles the MQB platform, it straddles the Mark 6. It is a 19, but it has a mechanical handbrake, not an electric handbrake. So the ABS system and the gearbox it was given birth with, which was a DQ250 6-speed DSG, all of these synergetic relationships don't always connect and communicate seamlessly with them. So we spent a lot of time. This was a customer who came in, he put the car into our hands for development. We were going to design and develop around the 250, nest this under the 500 foot-pound of torque and 500 horse, which would be about the limit for durability on that DQ250. And as we got into it, and we were trying to characterize the vehicle, we identified that you might as well go to look to do a conversion to a DQ381. So a customer found himself a nice, clean, hang on a second, get a little job done here. He found himself a really low-K DQ381 gearbox, and we set out to work. Problem number one, that gearbox hunts the electric brake input. And whenever there's a fault system on a modern day car, especially when it's traction related, there's a hard cap on the CAN bus for power. So this vehicle challenged us. You know, we had the car up and running already almost a year ago, but then we had to find one little fault code on the dashboard, which was this electronic park brake module missing or not to be found. So here we are today, enjoying the fruits of the labor a day before the customer comes to pick it up. We're absolutely code free. Every single function that this car would have had if it was given birth at the factory with this power plant are deployed, and we are north of 500 foot-pounds of torque, we're north of 500 horse. And now, the only holdup for this customer to enjoy the entire corners of the 550 package would be A, tighten up the suspension, because we get a lot of compression in the stock suspension when we're thrusting down with over 500 foot-pounds of torque. 2, the brakes. We're propelling 3,700 pounds at breakneck speed. And 3, the exhaust. We've done an exhaust upgrade, but on all of our VR550T Golf Rs, there is a bypass system so that when you're full on it, all that back pressure, all that heat stacking and heat soak on the back of the turbo manifold on the aluminum head is released. We don't have bypasses on this. Originally, the car was designed around that 500 target, which this would be ample. Now that it can breathe, the turbo is off its leash, that would be a future consideration. But that said, there's not much that a 550 foot-pound torque and 550 horsepower car is going to leave for the imagination that you can't find. If you're interested in the ultimate sport wagon or Alltrack, the ultimate parking lot sleeper, drop us a line. This is, bar none, one of the most exhilarating drives that I've had. It's unassuming, but the ferocity underfoot is unmatched. Best case is you roll up to any supercar, you roll up to any vehicle, they have no idea what's coming.